All right guys, welcome to another video. Today we're gonna be working on the RX7, doing more fab work on the chassis. I know, it's probably getting old to some of you. With race cars, especially drift cars, there's just a lot of fabrication involved, which is great for me because it's what I love to do. It's what I do for a living. It's my favorite thing, but it is a lot. And I'm sorry that I'm not like being able to just upload and upload and upload. It's a lot of work. Like fabrication takes a long time. But today we're going to at least start on the tube front, the smaller tubes that are gonna be holding the fender on and stuff like that. Work on everything on the inside. So what we gotta do first is get an idea of where these are gonna sit, drill a hole, get those like in there. That way we can build off there, because this is our first thing that we need to focus on. This is gonna come straight up, and we're gonna have one bar come straight to that, and we're gonna have one bar come down this way, bend, and then go straight to that. And then off of this, we're gonna be building a little front thing for our bumper to mount to, which I gotta pull up here soon, so I can look at how that needs to mount. There's a lot that goes into this, and I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm intimidated, but I am like really, like you really have to think about what you're doing before you make cuts in metal, otherwise you're going to run into issues. So before I start cutting circle tubing, I needed to just run through this. What should I do first? What should I do after that? And then what's the final thing going to look like? What is going to be serviceable? What's not? What do I got to bring over here? Like hood maybe has to come over here soon. And that kind of sucks because I don't even have hood hinges, but at least I can line it up with the fenders and stuff. Yeah, this is a very involved project. Probably my biggest personal fab project with no help. Like this is all me. So, you know, we'll see what happens. All right, so pretty simple. Like I said, drilled the holes. These are literally just some 1/4-inch bolts that I had, which I actually don't mind the way that they look in there. So maybe we'll figure out, I think it's 1/4-20. I want to say it's 1/4-20 that I use at work, and that's what I'm going to be using riv nut wise here. So hopefully we can use this hardware, because I mean, it kind of sucks to use like Allen head stuff, especially aluminum Allen heads, but I mean, I don't know. It looks nice. If I can do the whole engine bay and like Allen head stuff, that would look real good. Anyways, so now I'm gonna zip tie this to the fenders so that it stays. And then I'm gonna hold this up there and get an idea of where it's at. And then I'm gonna freaking bring the hood all the way over here, and I'm gonna put the hood on, try and center it pretty good, and then I'm gonna measure from the frame rail to that. And then we're gonna cut a tube, probably give it a little bit, give it an extra inch or so. And I'm gonna think about it, make sure that I don't need any extra length or anything like that for my front piece that I'm doing. I gotta think about it ahead of time, but I'm pretty sure I should just be able to do that to the height of almost to the hood, because we are gonna be running this tube just below that coming across. So if I run it to the top of the hood, or to the base of the hood underneath, it should be enough that we can always cut it off at the end if we need to. But yeah, let's measure that, or let's get the hood over here and then put the bumper on and figure all that crap out. We really need to get some shelves in this shop, because this is what I'm about to do right now. I am currently balancing on the bedside of this really, really rusty truck that I could probably fall through if I step on the wood floor. That's all completely just deteriorated. The hood's over there, leaning against the shop wall. I have to pick it up, climb over the truck, not dropping it, not falling over, not breaking anything in here that's valuable, like my dash and stuff like that. Get down to the ground, not hit the boat, not hit the truck, and then scooch my way all the way to the front of the shop. I might have to record this just because it's gonna be so difficult. right, so as you saw there, got these tubes tacked to those plates there. They are obviously way up close and tight to this hood right now. They are not gonna stay that way. What we're actually going to do is put a threaded, like, what do you even call that? I guess like a threaded tube is gonna be welded on top of this facing this way. So we'll have a way to bolt on and off this piece that is gonna be coming down and across like that. So that's the general idea of it. Now, if you can kind of picture it, we're going from here across to the strut tower. We'll have one that goes to that tube, literally just like that. I mean, 190-degree bend. That one's not even getting a bend. And then we'll have a piece that comes up here, 290-degree bends, mirrored to the other side. Fairly simple. You know, you call that simple, but there is a, everything has to be fit like really well. We're gonna have to weld tabs on for everything to mount. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not as simple as I'm wording it and making it seem. Well, I've been trying for a while to get my notcher, the 1.5 inch hole saw off of it to put the 1 inch on, and I just cannot do it. It's completely seized on there. That sucks. So we're stuck having to hand notch these. So it's gonna be kind of difficult, but at least I've got a pretty decent idea of like I mean, these are already pretty close to perfect. Obviously we'll have to rotate that more once it's notched, but it's not gonna take too much to kind of just suck that up into there. It's just gonna be kind of a pain in the butt to have to hand notch it. I don't like hand notching compared to obviously using a notcher. I can do it, you know, it's doable, but it's just gonna take a little bit more time. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult to be precise with it. We might end up with some gaps. We're gonna try and put the gaps on the bottom if there is gaps. That way they're not something you can see. But with that being said, I guess it's time to get the grinder out. Why is this not? Man, everything's going wrong this morning. And the grinder's gone. I don't know where the grinder is. All right, well, I'm gonna find that and then we'll get to hand notching these. All right, back to work on this tube front today, or tonight. So I bent some tubes up at work and I definitely missed on one of them. So that kind of sucks, but at least we can get the main structure down, and we kind of need to figure out how we're gonna connect this last bar anyway. So let me show you real quick. So you can see we bent our 90-degree, these. So this is gonna be something like that, right? So obviously I left them long just because I didn't wanna miss it, you know, like these ones I did not want to miss because they're kind of just like a one and done thing. So got both of these done. So today we will notch and, you know, figure out the height of those and tack those on. And honestly, today we might finish weld all that because that will at least make these solid and done. But this piece, I did miss my bend. I don't know how to like measure for bends. I've never done it, never been taught. So I kind of just was guessing and I missed. So if you line this one up, as you can see right there, this one's too long. So I just miscalculated my bends. So that kind of sucks, but let's see, there's not even a way to, I mean, we could potentially run one across right there, I guess. That like just barely comes out. If we want to, I don't know why we would, except maybe to hang oil coolers and stuff on. I don't know, we'll see. I guess I'll get the whole thing together, and if I end up wanting to run this there, I might as well. But for now, we're not gonna plan on that being on there because that is supposed to be going from here down and across and up, but it's supposed to come out like 10 inches because that's where the bumper mounts. So what we're gonna do is get the fenders on here. We're probably gonna fish mount these first boom. And then after we fish mouth it, we'll figure out the angle at which this needs to sit and notch and all that stuff. So yeah, we're gonna throw bolts in those so that they're like exactly where they're gonna sit. And then we're just gonna start working at it. I realized I made a mistake. Once I put this tube up here, I realized that this is not gonna be needing a 90. So obviously a 90 goes straight across and up. But if you look at this tail light, or at this headlight, it's actually curved this way. I'm moving the camera to show you. But so one good thing about tubing is you can unbend it a decent amount and kind of save yourself. You can't really bend it. Well, you can always bend it more, but for us in this situation, we can't because I don't have a bender. But we were able to unbend. I need to unbend it probably a little bit more so that I want this to follow this body line. As you can see, it needs to just go a little bit more. So yeah, if that's lined up like that, we do still need to unbend it a little bit more. So let me show you the way that I'm doing that. I want this to be pretty close to the same gap as this is, from fender to tube, and then tube to light. So we're close. I just gotta keep going. Let me show you how we're doing this though. It's definitely odd, but it's working pretty freaking good. Hold on. I don't even really have any good way to, okay, that works. So, getting in this groove so that it stays, and just give it a little. Trying to sneak up on it. You can definitely feel it. This was literally a 90, so this is working really good because this was a 90 at one point, and it's probably closer to like a 70 or so now. We're getting close though, but I am trying to sneak up on it because obviously I don't have a way to bend it back tonight. I mean, I might be able to in a similar fashion, but I'm trying to just not have to adjust it much more. So yeah, it's working out decent so far. Let me see if we got close on this one. And now we're gonna have to figure out how to be underneath all this. So it's gonna weld in here, right? It's gonna come down, and it's gonna have to go low enough, at an angle low enough that it's coming tight under those, and it's gonna end up hitting pretty much right here. So typically what you would do once you've gotten this perfect on one side, you would immediately just start bending the other side, and then just bring this outside with you and unbend that other side to this piece and make them perfectly the same. However, this is not some like CNC cut, like 3D scan thing that I know is perfect side to side. This is like just me doing it with minimal tools here. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna do this side. We're gonna cut it all to shape and length, and then we'll tack it on, and then we'll move it to the other side. All right, so now that we get it somewhat cut down to size, you've got to place it in here in the correct spot, and then mark for a notch, and then try and notch it perfectly with a grinder. As you can see, like I was saying, it's pretty freaking low. So we're gonna have to make a tab that goes up and out. So that's not ideal, but it's okay though. It's not the end of the world. It's just not exactly how I imagined it, but it's gonna work. It's gonna work fine, and it's gonna do just as what it's gonna do what it needs to do. So there's no point in stressing out about it too much. So let's set the other side up. All right, fully tacked up. I think we're gonna go ahead and just finish weld these because I wouldn't mind doing a little weld project real quick. Lately at work, I've only been doing like sheet metal work, so I haven't really been able to do like consistent beads. It's always a good feeling. So all right, another night, we're back on this thing. So if you have pop-ups, you have to have working pop-ups, bro. I don't mind having like the like lazy eye and like a light bar in there. However, this is my first car with pop-ups and I want pop-ups to work. So we're gonna get motors, we're gonna make them work. All right, so as you can see, we've got our headlight structure in here. Now, I would have liked for this angle to match like this one, but honestly, it was really difficult to make that top notch with the grinder, and so I kept just kind of having to lean it in and lean it in. That's how it is. I mean, ideally that would be symmetrical. That's the kind of thing that you want, but it's all right. It's not the end of the world. In the end of the day, like, we want it to function. So, yeah, this definitely does function. Like this has got 1, 2, 3, 4 tacks on this whole piece here, and it's shaking the whole car. So we will weld that up a little bit and then mirror it to the other side. Mark for holes for the to drill for the headlights to bolt to, and then yeah, that'll be ready. So let's weld it up. So to move the top back, this was originally sitting all the way out here, and we cut that section out, and now we're gonna weld it on to the outside right here, and it sits off of the tube far enough that we can make a tab off the tube and then use this as our bolt hole that we can I don't know, I might end up welding a nut in there. It's kind of a huge hole. I don't really want to, this is also supposed to be about serviceability, so I don't really want to have to nut and bolt that. I'd rather have either a nut welded on the inside or a rivet nut, but that's a little bit too big already for a rib nut to sit in there, and this is pretty thick, so we might have to weld the nut in there. We'll see. All right, got to it, made it happen. This thing is solid. Shake the whole freaking car. Nut and bolt, nut and bolt. All supported here. So now it's time to make this side the same way. So let's try this whole YouTube magic thing that they do. Oh, the lighting is gonna change. Whatever. All right, check that out. I don't know if the YouTube magic is gonna work, but hopefully. This side's done. I got the whole thing bolted up right now with the exception of the outside bolt that goes into the dealio here. You can see it there. I still gotta weld the bottom of this too. Yeah, with the exception of that bolt and with the exception of these are just dropped into the holes that I drilled to keep it all lined up. With the exception of that, it's all bolted up. So, I mean, dude, like, this is awesome. Like, I'm really, really happy with the way it came out. It looks cool from the top. It looks cool looking across. Like, look at that. Pretty freaking happy. Pretty proud of myself, pretty stoked. All this is hand notched, so some of it like wasn't perfect tolerances, but I did my best to lay down good beads. I mean, dude, I'm pretty happy with that. So, like I said earlier, we still got to figure out how we're doing the bumper. A lot of people do like a tube that just runs all the way around, and that was the original plan. But to do that, well, I had bent that tube up right there at work, but I took the measurements without even knowing how you're supposed to measure for bends, because this is all like somewhat new to me. So I miscalculated on the bends, and so that piece is kind of scrapped now, which sucks. But I do like the idea of these being their own thing. Like, these are separate from each other right now, and they're very easy to take out. So I don't know, we'll see. Once I get all of this hardware to be the same, here, 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 and here, it's gonna be super easy to take in and out, and disconnect things. My buddy just let me know that he has motors for sale, so I might go grab those from him. I don't even know where they go in here, but we're gonna figure that out hopefully today. He only wants $100 for the pair, so I'll probably just take them and figure out how they go, try and set them up right. And then, yeah, but as for the tube front, we are done. It's fully done. Obviously it's gonna get powder coated and all that later on, but I'm freaking stoked. All right guys, that is gonna do it for this video. I really wanna get a video out. It's been a while. It's been like, I don't know, almost 2 weeks. So I need to get this video out. And this kind of wraps up the whole tube front build, which is pretty cool. So the only things that we need to do, cut this at an angle and then cap it so that we don't let water get in there and all that. That would defeat the purpose of painting it. And then we need to finalize what hardware we're gonna use for the whole thing, and riv nut that. I think we're just gonna end up using M6 hardware because all of this is M6 hardware. So we'll riv nut this one, we will riv nut those two, riv nut those two, riv nut that one, and then same thing here and here. And then for the bumper, I actually threw a zip tie down here, and I have one up top already. And with just that, like, it's pretty legit. So if I had the three nuts on those 3 studs that come out on each side, I think it'd be perfectly fine because our bash bar is gonna go straight into this pocket here, and it's gonna have, I'll put a little cushion on it so that it holds that nicely, and there's also still tolerance to the metal. So I think this is honestly gonna be it. Like, we'll just cap that and then do a couple riv nuts, and then that's ready for like powder coat. So, or I guess we could powder coat it and then riv nut. But yeah, that's the whole process of doing a tube front. If you missed the other 2 parts, they are on my YouTube. Just click the channel and check it out. This is something you could buy from Chase Bays, and it's like, I think it's almost $2 grand shipped, or it's like, I don't know, 1,700, something around there. And I mean, obviously that's convenient, but for us with such an expensive build already, and then also like being a fabricator and an early on fabricator, like still learning, this was something that I wanted to challenge myself with trying to do. So I'm happy that I did. It came out good. You're able to kind of do exactly how you want to. So that's what's nice about it. You obviously have to modify the cage kits thing to fit your vehicle because every vehicle is a little different. And then also, since we cut the frame back, this is all rectangle tubing. We would have had to really modify that part of it. So very much okay with this, this alternative, building one myself. So yeah, I mean, I'm proud of it, honestly. Like, I'm gonna take, well, I don't know if I'm gonna take it all off now, but I'll add a little picture that I took on before I welded these last couple tabs on here, of the 2 of them outside of the car. They look awesome. So I'm very excited to have those powder coated a different color from the rest of the engine base paint, which will be steel it white. So steel it white, and then the whole car will be painted a different color, and then these will be powder coated to match the color of the car. So pretty happy with it. And we are going to be running the stock bumper with like I think it's called Shine Auto. I don't know, they have like a lip that I like, and then we'll do their front fenders as well. Stock hood will be cut and all that nonsense for the ITBs. But yeah, I can really like envision this thing now, and all we got to do, the rest of what we're gonna do tonight, it'll be in the next video, but we're just gonna finish wire wheeling the bottom side of the chassis, and then we'll look at doing our floor, and yeah, that'll be in another video. But we do need to undercoat this thing, and that way we can finally put the suspension back in it, take the casters off, and start building more. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for sticking around, and if you watched all 3 parts, thank you a lot. Subscribe to the channel. Like, there's still a lot more fabrication to do on this build, so if you're interested in that, stick around, and we'll see you next time. Hopefully that's in only a week, but it's been a while since I've uploaded a video. It's hard to keep them coming when you're doing all the work and all the editing and all that yourself. So there she is. That's the rx7 tube front for you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. See you next time.